everyone, welcome to another Something Bad Thursday. And today, for this particular video, I thought it would be interesting to discuss um, something that has sort of been discussed by me a while back during the month of Halloween, where I mentioned an experience that was unfortunate and sort of involved the topic that I'm going to be discussing today. But I thought it would be interesting to kind of go over my personal opinion when it comes to this topic in a more general sense, to sort of give you my idea of how frustrating uh, this particular activity is to me, at least. Um, and that is nightclubs. Yes, nightclubs. Um, and I mean nightclubs of all shapes and sizes. um, various age groups too. Like sometimes they had teen ones in particular in the United States where I'm from. And then they would have more adult ones where it would be like 21 and up or whatnot. So yeah, without further ado, let me discuss why I don't particularly care for this whole scene, and why it's really not my thing, and why I think it's bad. At least it's bad for me. It may not be bad for some people, but it's bad for me. So that's why I'm going to be discussing it. What really frustrates me about nightclubs is the constant need to get attention. I mean, people who go into nightclubs, they try to wear something so overly lavish and over the top, these really high heels that you know that they cannot dance in. um and again, a lot of people just go in to seek out attention, like who can be the craziest, who can make the most noise, and who can be the most annoying, because then that person gets the most attention. And it's very frustrating to sort of see that taking place, and I really don't care for it all too much, to be honest. I think it's just dumb that the only way people can get sort of self-gratification now is through it's to going to a nightclub and asking for attention. So yeah, I think that's just something that bothers me. It's just the constant need to be the most outspoken, be the most loud, be the most obnoxious, and yeah, it just becomes a contest of that, of people trying to outdo one another, see who can get the most numbers, the most drinks. It's ridiculous. It's like, why do you need to go out and get all this attention for nothing? I mean, it produces absolutely nothing for you. Um, Another huge issue that I sort of mentioned in my Halloween video, where I discussed my experience at sort of one of these nightclubs slash bars, is that you can't talk with anybody in a nightclub. Like, you cannot hear a word. Heck, I think you will become even more deaf by coming out of a nightclub, because the music is just so unbelievably loud. And not is only the music really loud, it's very obnoxious, and on top of that, it's so repetitive and so mind-numbingly annoying to listen to that I really don't understand why people think it's so much fun to listen to this music. It just sounds so it just sounds horrible. And and I don't understand what's the big deal of dancing to this kind of music, because it's gotten to the point where the music is just so low quality that they will play anything that is popular and, not showcase anything that is of talent. And yeah, that's, I think, a huge issue, especially if you want to make music a part of the experience. Completely ruins it for me, because I think the music is horrible, and the fact that it's way too loud, and by the time I get out, I feel like my ears have gotten um, or just my hearing ability has been partially lost permanently because of it. Um, also, it's this idea of going to get free drinks. I don't believe in this notion of going to the nightclub for the sake of getting people to buy you drinks. In particular, this is the males buying the females drinks. And to be honest, I understand if somebody wants to provide me with one and not have me pay for it, but at the same time, I think there is just way too much taking advantage of this that's been going on throughout the existence probably of nightclubs, where you'll just go for the sake of trying to get free drinks from people. And that's why I think the setting just really bothers me. This idea of, oh yeah, just go and get free stuff because you deserve free stuff, and you deserve to, manipulate people into buying you stuff. So I think that's just wrong in my opinion. Again, I'm not against the whole idea of people buying people drinks. It's just I don't like the idea when people take advantage of that and clearly just go to the nightclub just so that they can get free drinks, because drinks are expensive, and that's why I mean, probably not as expensive as in other countries, but still it's just a waste of time and a waste of money. I mean, I would rather have somebody buy me something different than buy me a drink, to be honest. So yeah, I think that's just something that I've noticed over the course of my experience when it comes to people's reasonings to going to nightclubs. And to get 3 drinks, I think it's just ridiculous. I don't think that's right. You have no room. Yes, you do have no room. You've got tons of people crammed in, people shoving their faces against each other, people constantly, just full of sweat, and you just feel so hazy, and it's just very disorienting. It's not comfortable. And again, I'm not really claustrophobic at all. I mean, I don't care how many people get stuffed into one particular area. But it is an annoyance for me because it's just uncomfortable. You just don't want to be like, hey, I can't even dance. And that's kind of sort of to what I mentioned in my previous video, where I felt like that there was no room whatsoever, and I just felt like it was just a mass of people just going in and trying to get whatever they could out of the experience by just filling it up and cramming it in, and yeah, not having enough room, I think, is a huge issue, and all the more reason why I think that the nightclub scene needs to definitely take this into account if they want to have more people. Make plenty of room. And not only is there no space to breathe, but there's really not a whole lot of places where you can sit, or areas where you can really talk all that much, from what I've experienced. I'm sure there's more elaborate ones where, they're a lot more expensive to get into, but they're a lot nicer and have a lot more room. But at the same time, again, it doesn't change the fact that there's bazillion lights going off, there's a DJ, and there's loud music playing everywhere. So yeah, that's just kind of adds into the amount of annoyance that I get from it. I think in high school, I didn't mind going and dancing at these teen things that were sort of like what you would call nightclubs. But now as I'm older, I really see how mindless and, um, just nothing. You just don't. You just don't feel like you're doing anything that is worthwhile. At least when I started trying to go within my college years, I mean, I just saw it for what it is, and I was just like, I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to deal with it, and I think I've been a whole lot better not dealing with it and just sort of pushing myself away out of that pressure to go to a nightclub. So I'm kind of glad that I tossed it off to the side after a while. I also don't like the fact that with nightclubs, it's always sort of a group think, you know, uh, experience where, you know, everybody's going. Like, if you're within your 20s and later teens, everybody's going to these things, pretty much. Um, Again, you know, depending on the age limit, but again, people break probably those rules all the time. So, largely speaking, mostly in your teens and 20s demographic there. And for me, it just feels like it's done for the sake of socializing, for being part of the group, so to speak. Yeah, I'll go with you because I'm part of the group. And I'm just one of those people who goes, no, no, I'm not just going to go just because everybody else is going. I want to go if it's going to be valuable to me and maybe even valuable to the other person that I'm spending time with. You know, I mean, makes sense. And the thing is you don't really get a whole lot of socializing from going to a nightclub because again, it's all loud noise. So you can't talk with anybody. So the whole point of, yeah, let's get together and go to a nightclub, you're not really together like at all at the club. You're just off dancing somewhere, or you're off drinking or doing whatever. You know, you're not really together. You're not really doing anything together. You're not talking. You're not having an experience, unless you could consider dancing with each other maybe an experience. But at the same time, I can see that kind of environment being somewhat fun. But again, the music is horrible, at least in my opinion. So the dancing is no fun, and I'm not particularly a person who likes to drink a whole lot. So again, it's just no fun for me. I would just rather do other things with my time. Um, and I think a lot of it has to do though with the peer pressure. And I think once I started entering my 20s, I just realized to let that peer pressure go and not, you know, cave in. And usually people didn't really ask me anyways to go with them to these places. So I was kind of happy about that anyway. So I kind of just I was gently kind of weaned off from ever having to participate. So, and even if I was pressured to participate, I'd be like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to, no. um, so, yeah, that's just kind of how uh, I see things when it comes to these kinds of uh, scenes. They're just not, I just don't think they're worth my time because I don't think I'm getting a real genuinely nice experience out of it. Um, and I think a lot of people go to the nightclubs for their own self motivations. They don't really necessarily go to have anything meaningful happen. They just go for the sake of going for themselves and thinking that they're going to get something out of it for them. And again, it's not really a bonding experience. It's all just designed to be self gratification. And that's something that really bothers me about this whole nightclub scene. It's all for the sake of the individual, and you're not really having a real experience. And even if anything, you probably won't even remember it if you get too drunk. So So it's just one of those things where I feel like there's nothing that really good comes out of it in the end, especially when there's a lot of drama that happens within these places, and then people start yelling around, and there's like fighting. I see these videos kind of constantly where people are fighting outside of the nightclub, and people are yelling, people are making a scene, and yeah, and it's just crazy. I just don't see the reason for wanting to go. It just doesn't sound fun to me, where people are just yelling around and screaming everywhere. Um, so yeah, I think the best alternatives, I would say, to a nightclub, if you want to go for like some kind of music experience and maybe have a couple of drinks, where it's not this crazy over obsessed, you know, uh, cr- it's not crazy. It feels normal. It feels a lot more relaxed, which is what I like personally. I would definitely recommend something like a karaoke bar, um, one that probably has like a lot of lights, and usually you'll find more old people at karaoke bars. But they're a lot of fun because then you can go up and actually sing a song. Um, they might have some dancing at some bars or something like that, or if you go to ones that are more that have like where people like there's like an actual you know somebody is actually there teaching you like how to dance the different dancing that they're trying to teach you, then that's always fun. Something like that, I think, would work a lot better and actually would be a lot more interesting than just mindless dancing for no particular reason other than to get attention. Um, so yeah, I think that is a better alternative. I don't think there's a whole lot of them out there actually. When you compare nightclubs, which are a lot more, a lot more popular and more accessible, those are probably um, the the things like that I've mentioned are probably not as they're just probably not around in a lot of different areas. They're probably only um, maybe the closest one to you maybe would be 20 miles away or 40 miles away, or an hour or something like that. Um, and I can understand why people wouldn't be willing to go if it takes so much time away from driving. Um, but yeah, I think really overall the way in which I can describe my feelings in regards to this topic of nightclubs is that they're just not fun. All the things that I mentioned have to do with the fact that, as a result of this, it's not fun. It's not fun to have loud music blaring in your face. It's not fun not being able to hear anybody. It's not fun dancing to music that you don't actually really enjoy. Um, it's not fun, forcing yourself to get hammered because everybody else is. Not fun at all. It's not fun, just being around a ton of people with no room, and people constantly shoving themselves in your face. That's just not fun either. So yeah, there's just a lot of things about it that just have bothered me to no end. And yeah, I thought it would be interesting to discuss this on a more general sense. I think if nightclubs started to be more a little bit more, just not if they tried to make it a little bit smarter, you know, I would probably be more invested in it. But I just kind of look down at I just look at all the phonies, like in the Catcher in the Rye. I just look at all of them and just go, what a bunch of phonies, what a bunch of people who just want to be there for the sake of being there to get attention. And oh, look at all of those phonies who think they're all that, and trying to get attention and get free drinks and get access, just because they feel like that they deserve, whatever they can get their hands on a nightclub. Um, it's just, look at all these buffoons, Not saying that everybody that attends a nightclub or participates in that scene is a buffoon. Not at all. But what I mean is that I've noticed that a large, extensive amount of people that go to these places do so either for the sake of peer pressure or do these things because they feel like they have nothing better to do with their lives. And to be honest, I think there's just so much better things to do out there. I mean, there's just a lot more interesting and cool things you can do, and I don't understand why all of a sudden, nightclubs are the only thing that there is to do. I just think that there's just a lot better environments out there, and there's just a lot more um, there's just a lot more I think to enjoy out there than sticking into this very um, very kind of consumeristic scene that doesn't add any value, or it's just mindless entertainment. So yeah, it's kind of like watching a really bad movie almost, like going to a nightclub. It's like, and it's not one of those so bad it's good movies. It's like so bad you want to hit your head on a frying pan bad. So yeah, but I think that's really ultimately all I can say about this topic. But again, if there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I understand that there might be some people who hold a different opinion than I do, and that's totally fine, and I'm totally not against anybody's thoughts on this topic, and it's not to say anything about the people who attend nightclubs. I've just noticed that some people do act a certain way, and that's just not the kind of people that I want to associate myself with. So, sorry, it's nothing personal. It's just, uh, it's just that I've noticed behavior that just rubs me the wrong way. Um, and but again, a lot of it's more, I think, peer pressure than anything else. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year. And I hope to see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.